Hey there, hey, this is Michelle with Brilliant Quest. And today I just want to have a conversation with you about personal interactions. And I want to ask you, are you too smart for your relationships? And this is not a trick question. This is really, are you smarter than who you interact with in your relationships? And I ask that because there is a problem right now. And the problem is that we have had a chance to really look at our interpersonal interactions over the last 4 years. And at the time of this recording, we have come out of the time of the P word, and now, we've had a year or so past that, and things look a little different. And I say this, are you smarter than your relationships? Because a lot of people, they weren't ready for when they had to spend time at home with family and friends and relatives. And they started having these revelations. And there was an article, I don't know if I can find it right now, but there was an article I read that was actually a guide to how to break up with friendships that you've outgrown. And some of the things that they talked about in these friendships were intellect, finance, and morals. And so those are things that we usually take for granted because, of course, we think our friends are just like us. Of course. But then when you start to realize that maybe not you, we've outgrown, is it such a bad thing? Now, I'll just be transparent. I had a long-term friendship that is no more. And I wasn't the one that instigated. And I didn't get the closure that from that person. I got it from myself. But it was one of those where when it happened, I started doing the work. And I was like, oh my God, this was dead years ago. There was really nothing but for the sake of nostalgia. And we had grown apart in what we liked to talk about, the intellectual interactions. They want to talk about the Real Housewives. I want to talk about AI. It just wasn't meshing anymore. And it wasn't until I got to the point where I had to admit they were probably more or smarter about the relationship than I had been, because they were the ones, who were like, okay, I don't want to touch you anymore. And that's fine. But it helped me. At first, of course, I licked my wounds for a bit, but it helped me. And then I really had to start looking at that. And as I started looking at that, I started finding people who talk openly about how they manage their interpersonal, endeavors. There's this one person she talked about at the end of the year. She makes an evaluation of every person that she interacts with on a casual basis who would fall like into a friendship, acquaintance, associate, those kinds of things. And she decides who's going with her into the next year. And it's really empowering because she usually keeps a tight scope on who her friends are. And you would think that she would get to the point where she'd have no friends. But no, instead of it being where she's like, you didn't do anything for me this year, so you've got to go. It was more so, I couldn't find my way to do what a friendship with this person would require. So I'm the one that does not deserve this friendship that I'm taking into the new year. And thus, she got to the point where she said through the year, she would make sure she did certain things because she didn't want to have to cut herself from the friendship. And I thought that was a novel and a much appreciated way where it's not so pompous about, you didn't, jump through my hoops. And it's one that I could understand. It's like, what am I doing to be not worthy, but be respectful and thankful for this relationship? Am I being engaged? Are we growing together? Am I keeping up with what is a smart relationship? Am I servicing my friends the way they want? Not the way I think, but the way they want, which means that I have become more communicative. I have been more humble. And when I say humble in, I don't know, I can't read your mind. What can I do to better serve you? Show me how to love you as a friend. And it has been eye-opening. I mean, when I say eye-opening, I mean eye-opening. And, when we go through bad times, like going through the P word, all we really can focus on at the time is surviving through the pain and the loss and the trauma and all the bad stuff. But then afterwards, when you get enough time past it, you can start to look and see, oh my gosh, it did leave gifts while it was leaving. It left gifts at the door. And it keeps giving me gifts of insight and understanding that I could have not gotten, or would have taken me many years had the world not been forced to shut down, to sit and reflect. And so another thing about, allergies. Another thing about are you smarter than your friends is, are you smart enough to do your work, to suss out the areas where you've become too comfortable with them and you've taken them for granted? And it's the little areas that seep in to do this. Do you respect a stranger's time more than you respect your friend's time? I'm chatty Cathy. I love to talk to my friends. And I have to catch myself sometimes, be like, they don't have all this time to be sitting here on the phone with you. Yeah, y'all might not talk every day, but come on, land the plane. And that is because I am realizing that I gotta play catch up. I gotta be smart about these friendships that I cherish, because I wanna make sure that I'm staying in the race and earning the right every day to be in their lives, because a person's presence in your life is a privilege and never a right. And so to be with the privileged, I must do the work on my end. And another thing, don't worry about them doing it on their end, because I will tell you, when you step up to the plate, if you got the right friends, that's the good thing about it. It's a win-win situation. If you got the right friends, they'll meet you tit for tat. They will meet you at doing their part too. But if you got the wrong friends, it will quickly unravel, and you will see that all you have are shambles and a shame and a mess. And then it will be very obvious that bye, we gone, it's okay. It was nice while it lasted. And so to me, that's a win-win. So with talking about this and making it aware that we can't grow so lax in taking them for granted that we run the risk of being lonesome and alone. Because you must first, if you want a friend, you must first be friendly. And a lot of people do not even understand. If you ask them to tell you the top 3 things that constitutes a friendship, they would tell you something like somebody who spends time with me, somebody I can talk to on the phone, somebody who laughs at my jokes. Now, I don't know if you caught that, but all of it is forward facing for them, the benefits that they get out of it. But friendship is, and it's funny that the old sayings, when you think about some of the old sayings of friendship, something like a friend in need is a friend indeed. And when you really mull over, what does that mean? Your friends are the ones who you still will do everything you can to help when they're in need. You won't get tired of them and shun them like, get away from me. You got the cooties, or whatever. How do you behave when they're in sickness, when they're in financial straits, when they are in emotional turmoil? That's to me really a good insight as to what a true friend is. Are you able to hold a space for them? Even if you can't fix the situation, you're willing to, in that particular time, borrow somebody else's troubles to go with them through it, to, stay with them in that space, helping to root them on as you can and finding active ways to help them move through the process. That's a friend. Making this switch from what can a friend do for me as opposed to what can I do to grow, to be worthy enough to be in this friendship. It takes on a different approach. And thus you start to get a different type and caliber of person. There are some people that the only friends they have are the ones that when they're ready to go out and get into some trouble, them my road dogs, them my girls, But when you're really going through something and you just need somebody to talk to, you try to get them on the phone and talk to them and well, girl, I gotta go because and they're getting you off the phone. It's not their fault. It's not your fault. It is just a time for you to be able to evaluate what's really going on. And is this a friendship, an association, or an acquaintance? Now, that is one thing I've always had. I don't call everybody my friend. There are some friends, but there are associates and acquaintances too. And I don't have any problems putting people into different buckets at all. But with that being said, I really kind of wanted to just come and ask you, are you smarter than your relationships? If the answer is yes, it is time to upgrade. And that means it is time for you to put yourself into friendship training. It is time for you to figure out, how can I be friendly so that I can have friends on the caliber, the level, the intelligence that I require to be in a friendship. It might be lonely before it happens. It might be hard and dark, but it will be worth it, because what you will do is you will put yourself into a rehabilitation program to get good friends. And to get good friends, you must what? First be friendly. And to be first friendly, you must what? Learn what you can do, not what they can do for you. And trust me, they're going to be, and it's something about the older you get, the less friends either you have or that you can make. And it's okay. It really is. And the reason why it's okay is because by the time you get to certain points in your life, now come here, this big sis Michelle, just breaking it down for you. It's not about you being unlikable. It's not about friends being hard to find. It is about the amount of crap experiences and filters we're all working with. The more we live, the more experience we go through. And it's harder to meet someone at that point who has their own set of crap that they've gone through. And now y'all got to try to be friends when you fight your own personal demons, you're fighting your own personal wars. That is one of the, this is bad. But what you will find, I'm not saying, oh, all hope is lost. I'm not saying that you can't build friends the older you get. What I am saying is when you put yourself into friendship training, you start to realize that they got all of these filters and traps and crap going on. And what it does is it makes you be more understanding, patient, kind, forgiving. It makes you understand and appreciate what they can give. And I'm going to tell you, when you find someone new to be a friend and you realize what they can give you and you're appreciative for it and you give them what they would like from you, sometimes you got to ask, how best can I be a good friend to you? And then do what they said. And if you can't be like, we can't be friends, no, just play. But being able to give and give as good as you get, you will be amazed at how older people come in with all of their issues can find friendships because they're not trying to make this friend be the end all be all, be compatible in all areas. They're understanding that, well, this friend, they might not be really good when it comes to commiserating with me and, being soft in that area. But, when it comes to talking to them about the latest events and what's going on and them having brilliant insights, that's my friend. You'll start to understand that different friends fill different spots in your life, and you owe it to them to fill the spots that you qualify and that they have accepted you as a friend in their life. That's why I say you will spend a lot of time working on you, not just trying to slip people into your slots of what you want only, because it's a win-win, a give-give situation. And you will succeed. You will get people who challenge you all the time. And you will be, quote unquote, equally yoked on the same levels, going up higher and higher when you take the time to do this. Now, I wish I could tell you, oh, it's going to be easy. Not necessarily. Oh, you're going to have so many friends. Not necessarily. But when you get to the point, when you start understanding yourself and what you can offer, you'll start making a beeline to those people who will be appreciative of it. And then you will understand what you need from them, and you'll be able to pick the people who are appreciative of what you have to give, and then you're appreciative of what they have to give you. This is a reframe that I want to give you for this whole thing about your friendships. Are you smarter than the friends and what you need to do? And that is get very firm or clear on what it is you have that other people want. And when I say you have that other people want, I'm not talking about for transactional purposes. Yeah, you can definitely do that, if you're trying to sell something or, make your way. But what is it that you have? For some people, they have a golden ear. Oh, they can listen to you with empathy and understanding. And when the time comes in the interaction, they're able to give you words of comfort, insight, help, all of these different things. They're excellent listeners, and they give excellent advice, compliments, and support. Oh my God, those people are worth their weight in gold. Because you can have excellent listeners, and then when you ask them something, well, I don't know. Well, why did I just tell you all that? But anyway, I'm just being farcical there. But understanding that if that's you, then understand, what do you need from somebody else? You might be like, I don't want to have to do all the listening all the time. I need a person who, yeah, they can talk, but then they got to be willing to listen to me. So you might be wanting what you naturally are in return. When you understand what it is you have that people want, and then you figure out what it is that other people have that you want, and you take that and you start working on yourself and looking forward, you are going to start to naturally find the harmony between you and others. And it's kind of like a beacon where you'll start to notice each other. You'll start to be put into the paths of each other. Or you can go and find like places where you might like to hang out, those types of things. But understand that if you haven't, it is time for you to actively take an inventory of your friendships. Are they compatible? Are they a win-win for everybody? Are you using people and calling it friendship? If that be you, stop it. Okay. But it's really time, because it can only work well for everybody involved. And so what I want you to do is I want you to take this inventory, understand what you bring, who you are, understand what you want, understand where you are in your ability to be a good friend, and work on it, and do the necessary changes to yourself, as well as, if you need to your friend group, because that's what the sign of the times requires. And only those who have that are going to make it, because there are about to be, well, it's already starting. There are about to be pressures on each person's life And if you don't have that firm foundation of good friendships, it's going to rip apart all of the shallowness of you just folks that happen to hang out and like to do the same thing, but you're really not friends. And I don't want that for you. And so this is me trying to be preemptive and trying to invite you on this brilliant quest of you taking the reins and you being proactive to get the friendships that work best for you and that you work best for them. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to go in and watch this next video on your brilliant quest. And my time is up. I thank you for yours. I'm going to see you sooner than later. This is Michelle, your big sis with Brilliant Quest. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.